Hello, this is a very quick video showing how to do conversions. We'll start off with just a basic why do we do conversions and what the heck are they? A conversion is meant to help you understand what a number actually is. So if I were to say we're going to go outside and you're going to run 3,000 inches. Okay, 3,000 sounds like a big number. But do you really know how far that is? Like, can you picture how far that is? Is that like not that big of a deal? Is it a very big deal? It's kind of hard to tell off the top of your head. So conversions take numbers that are confusing, larger, don't make a lot of sense, and convert them into something that makes a little more sense. Here's another idea. If I asked you, pause the video right after I ask this and see if you can figure it out. How old would you be if you were 1,000,000 seconds old? Is that really old, or is that not very old at all? Pause the video here and see if you can guess. All right, so if it's 1,000,000 seconds, that's actually only about 11 and a half days old. It's not that old at all, arguably. You gain 1,000,000 seconds on your lifetime every 11 and a half days. If I said 1,000,000,000 seconds old, that's like 33 years. Now, just saying 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000, those don't make a lot of sense. So we convert them into numbers like days that do make sense. So we're going to talk about how to do that now. So I'm going to start off with a conversion that is very, very, very easy so that you see the process. Okay. Now, when you see a problem for me, it's probably going to say something to the effect of this. Let's say, 3 dozen donuts. Okay. Actually, let's get rid of this part. Let's go 3 dozen, 2 donuts. Now, you should be able to probably, some of you do this in your head relatively quickly. It's like 36 donuts. I'm not caring as much about what the answer is as much as how to do it. Okay, so when you see this on the homework, it's probably going to start off looking like this. It's just asking, all right, here's the number we're starting with. Here's what we want to get to. Okay, so let's put some steps over here on the side. These are going to go down in your notes. So there's going to be 6 steps. Trying to make it relatively simple for you. Okay, step 1. This is what you're going to see. Step 1 is simply just write original number. Okay, as much as you need to pause in this, especially to get this stuff down over here. But the original number is 3 dozen. Now, I wrote down the problem here at the top. Okay, you don't have to do that. You don't have to rewrite the problem if you don't want to. All you have to do is write this original number right here. This is what we're starting with. Okay, next. The next thing we do is we put like a fraction thing. So I just put a line here, but essentially I'm going to put it in parentheses so you can kind of tell the difference. You don't need to do that. What you're going to do is right next to it is we're going to multiply this by a fraction. Now on your page, I would use 2 lines so you can decently spread this out. Okay. Now we don't want to change this number. So technically everything inside this particular fraction right here is going to equal the number 1, because anything times 1 stays itself. We don't want to change what the number is. We simply want to change what its units are. All right, so I'm going to go back up here. Okay. Next, place units. Okay. Now, the units in question are these words right here after the number. So these units are dozen, these units are donuts. We don't know what number technically we do, but we're trying to figure out what number goes with this. Okay. When you place units, it's a really simple rule. Okay. The thing that we don't want anymore, we don't want dozen, we're trying to get to donuts, is technically on top over here. Any number is technically here divided by 1. Okay. So dozen is on top. Dozen. Sorry, it's not super confusing. It's not how you spell dozen, is it? Anyway, so we're going to assume that it is. So dozen is right here on top. If you want units to cancel, if something's on top, it needs to go on bottom. If it's on bottom, it needs to go on top. In this case, it's always going to start here on top. So we're just going to put it right here on the bottom. That's going to cancel because we have 1 on top and 1 on bottom. the units that we want, in this case donuts, are going to go right there. So, original number, we wrote that there. Place a fraction, real simple, and that fraction is there so that we can then place our units. What we started with dozen goes on bottom so that it cancels, and what we want, donuts, goes on top. Next, place conversion. Sorry, this is place conversion. Now, I'll show you the conversion sheet here in just a second. Let's go ahead and actually pull it up so you can see this. Here, maybe, is the conversion sheet. Okay, so typically you're going to pull off of this. We'll get you either a hard copy here, or for right now you can just use this file that's on Google Classroom. This will be the conversion sheet. So typically you can see all these conversions, all these numbers that belong together. You're not going to look any of these up on Google Classroom. You're only going to use this right here. Okay. All right, so this is your conversion sheet. Now, for our problem in question, I actually know what the conversion is, and so do you. Basically, it's what thing equals 1 in here. Now, I know that in 1 dozen, there are 12 donuts. There it is, place conversion. Next, multiply top and divide bottom. These are talking about the numbers. Okay, so if the numbers are on top, like 3 and 12, we're going to multiply those together, and we're going to divide by the bottom. Now, I am going to tell you a little bit of a shortcut here. Anytime it says to multiply or divide by 1, that's not going to change anything. So we really are good. Now, let's go ahead and get up the calculator here. Should have that up already. And you can use a calculator on your phone or on your computer, or we have some that you can borrow. So 3 times, because it's on top, 12. And our answer is 36. So let's go ahead and, if I made space appropriately, I'd probably put it over here, but I'm just going to put an equal sign to show that's what's done. I get 36. The last step here is to make sure when you have your answer, you also have units. There is really not going to be a number that you write down in this class that does not have units. If you write down a number and there's not something immediately after, you've made a mistake. There needs to be those numbers, those units afterwards to help you understand what's going on. So in this case, what are the final units? Well, this is what we're trying to get. Donuts doesn't cancel, so we just have donuts. All right, let's go ahead and do just one more sample problem to give you an idea how this usually works. At the beginning of this video, I asked you, all right, if you ran 3,000 inches, would that be very far? Now, if I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, so let's go ahead and give you a problem in feet. Okay, question mark feet. So there's your problem right there. 3,000 inches to feet. So let's just go ahead and follow the steps. Write the original number. There it is, 3,000 inches. Write the fraction. There it is. Place the units. We don't want inches anymore, and remember it's technically on top. You don't always have to draw that. You just know that it's on top, so that if it's inches are on top, you just need to go on bottom to cancel because we don't want them anymore. What do we want? We want feet. Okay, place the conversion. Like I showed you a minute ago, we are going to use the conversion off of this right here. So what am I looking for? Well, I've got feet and inches. So if you know already those are distance, it's going to make your life easier. I've got these in categories, but yep, 1 foot, 12 inches. So let's go ahead and go back to the problem. I'm going to write it down here. You don't usually have to, but just so we have the conversion right here, 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Now, this is why we place the units first. Okay, sometimes people try to get, does the 1 go on top? Does the 1 go on bottom? Don't memorize that. There's no reason to. All you got to do if you know the conversion is just match it to the units. The 1 goes with wherever feet is. In this case, feet is on top, so it goes there. 12 goes with inches, so it goes there. Now, after we place the conversion, we multiply on the top, right? So the 1, okay, I don't really need to do that. In 1, it's going to stay the same, so 3,000 times 1 is just 3,000. And divide if it's on the bottom. Now, when you divide like this, always put the first number in from left to right. So punch in our calculator here. This should be, let's go ahead and clear, 3,000 divided by 12. 250. So my final answer here is 250, but like I said, we have to have units, so feet. And I would argue that's not terribly far, but if you were really curious, if the feet really didn't help you very much, you could convert feet into a couple of things. You could go from feet to yards, if that makes more sense. If any of you play football, you can kind of get an idea. There's 100 yards in a football field. It's also roughly the same size as a soccer field. You could put it into meters if you're a little bit more familiar with that. You know, we just got done with the Olympics, so 100-meter dash or 200-meter dash, or, you know, the mile is 1,600. So let's just do that real quick, just for another quick practice. Let's say we wanted to know this answer, 200 feet. What is that in meters? Okay, oops, I did that wrong. I should probably put the question mark first. Question mark first, meters. Now, you will notice me using the abbreviations a lot. You can feel free to use the abbreviations if you use the correct one. For example, meters is M, miles is MI, and minutes is MIN. Get those confused and you're going to make mistakes, so don't do that. All right, 250 to meters. So again, write the original number, 250 feet. Draw the fraction. Place units. Feet are on top, so feet go on bottom, always. Trying to get meters, so that goes there. Let's go ahead and look for our conversion. It says right here that 1 meter is 3.28 feet. So, oops, wrong thing. There we go. What did I say just a second? I said 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. So 1 meter, 1 goes with the meter, and 3.28 feet. So multiply the top. Step 5 here. It's going to stay the same, so we divide by the bottom. So we get out our calculator and start at 250 divided by 3.28. Now, the main reason I bring this up is you see all those decimals. I do not want you to write all of those decimals. Let's just go ahead, and a good rule is let's just use 2. So let's use the second decimal place is a 1 here. We will look at the third one to see whether or not it rounds up. It's 5 or up. It's above that, so we're going to go ahead and round that up. So my final answer here is going to be, oops, what did I just say it was? 76.22 meters. So that's less than a 100-meter dash. Depending on whether you're athletic or not, you might decide, yes, that is a long distance. I don't even want to run at all. Or no, really, a 100-meter dash really isn't that far. So that's how you do a conversion. If you're still struggling at all, you can go back and rewatch this video. I'm sure that your teacher can, as it was with you, can help you out if necessary. Or, yeah, I think just rewatching the video will probably help a good amount. So go ahead and do the problems on the assignment now.